you know.
They're still
And
buying stock on that.
I think Facebook, I mean, used to be almost $1 trillion company. Now I believe they are at about three to 400 billion. So they came down quite a lot.
Wow,
I mean,
that's
some of the reasons, during the recent earnings,
uh-huh, uh-huh.
some of the people were a little bit concerned that Facebook had too many employees. So they
Okay.
were investing a little bit too much in a downturn economy,
Oh, okay,
and the
okay.
investors took their share prices down. And then Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO,
Uh-huh.
he uh, he initially did not want to slow down his investments into tomorrow,
Okay.
but unfortunately, the markets have spoken. And
Okay.
that's to answer your question earlier.
Correct.
Maybe not a single investor have spoken, but the markets have spoken, and
Uh,
they start selling their shares. And they said, "Listen,
oh,
you're
okay, okay.
burning too much money. You're spending too much money on employees." So he decided he's going to let go about 11,000 people. That's a lot. 11,000
So
developers.
how much should we save on that? $2 billion, $3 billion, 11,000 employees?
I mean, with the burn rate, I'm looking at Facebook right now. They're $295 billion. Okay,
M
it's not a small company,
11.
but
Uh,
the share price is about $111 right. Well, as a matter of fact, uh, I could share my screen. We could speak of it
right.
together.
Before that, I
Is
have a
better.
question from one of the
Yes,
viewers
please.
from New Jersey. She writes, safe percentage of her 401k money after 70 years we could invest?
A percentage. Would you mind repeating a percentage of
Okay.
401k?
Yeah, safe percentage. What is the safe percentage of our 401k money after 70 years can we invest?
Okay, so this is it's a particular question. One needs to also understand if it's an accredited investor. Also depends on the size of your 401k. So in terms of percentage, if you're discussing, because your 401k is also could be invested in various funds.
Uh-huh.
Either it could be sitting in a money market just as cash based with gaining a little bit of percentage, or you could be investing in certain funds which
Okay.
are a bit more safer.
Hmm.
Or you would invest in a particular companies that may or may not have dividends and or growth and such. So I mean, in today's market, you have to also look at your lifestyle. So if you need that money in a short period of time,
Right.
you may or may not want to risk losing that money. So
That
it's very individual, and each case has to be looked at very individually. There is no particular percentage, because for somebody, $100 is a lot. For another person, 100 million is not a lot.
depends upon the individual. Okay, that's very interesting. All right, so let's go to sectors. We have finished now, right? So what system are we using to find tradable stocks? And is there a system where we can track the stocks? Understand that?
Sure. Well, I personally use many different ones. Uh, from TD Ameritrade to Webull is one of my mobile apps. I very much enjoy it. To Fidelity. Fidelity is a pretty good platform. Uh, or even as simple as Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance is a very good platform with a lot of financial information, with all the details. Similarly to Google Finance. So each of these companies, they have a finance arm,
Uh-huh.
finance as in access to the markets.
Uh-huh.
I mean, any brokerage house will allow you to do that, but easiest to reach and search, in my opinion, would be, especially by sectors and such. I found that Yahoo Finance was quite, and I'm speaking of like a free without an account and so on.
Uh-huh.
Yahoo Finance would give you a very good access to by sectors. You could also do some paper trades. As a matter of fact, that's another thing I would strongly suggest for beginners,
Uh-huh.
not even necessarily investing the real money
Paper money.
into the particular companies. You could do paper trades, and it's almost like buying a virtually 100. Let's say you're buying 100 shares of, let's say, Facebook at $110 today,
Mm-hmm.
virtually. You're not
Mm-hmm.
really putting up the money,
Great.
and you're seeing, am I doing the right decision in, let's say, a month, 2, 3, a year from now? So paper trading is a good idea to train yourself and
Correct.
understand why certain things move.
my question, Roman, paper trading also relates to the real-time trading, just to understand how it's going.
Yes, it's a
Okay,
direct correlation.
okay, a
Correct.
correlation.
It's just not real money.
Okay,
You don't
okay.
have a real position. You do not own the actual
And
shares.
Facebook won't get
But
angry about that.
it's not going to put money in your pocket, but it will give you good
Knowledge.
knowledge.
Okay.
And everyone, and I'm kind of correlating to your question with someone that asked about 401k. Everyone is different, and everybody's style is different.
Uh-huh.
I, I, I think this might be a very. Do I have a couple minutes to
Please,
make
please go
a
ahead.
very
Yes, they'll be
interesting
interested.
point?
Yes, she'll be interested to know.
You mentioned that someone that sent you a question was 70 years old.
Yes.
I read a book recently. I'm not going to take their ideas for mine, but I very much correlate with that. People that were born earlier, okay, versus today's later generation that has been living in the upside economy. Okay, people
Right.
that were born 40s, 50s, 60s, and such, they have seen not such a great stock markets. They have seen booms. They have seen more,
Down,
speaking of
downside.
40s, where they have seen wars. They have seen downturns in the economy.
Uh-huh.
So, and the markets were not maybe as transparent would be a proper a good word to apply here. So today, with a lot of risk controls in place, which protect the consumers.
Okay.
Okay, because before mostly rich people or funds were able to invest into the market,
Right.
but
Right.
thanks to easy access by some of these companies like Robinhood, for example, is another trading platform. Which, as a matter of fact, is not a bad platform. They just recently upgraded their charts, and they do not charge for commissions.
Okay.
So, two companies I would suggest maybe to looking at is Robinhood and or Webull.
Okay.
Webull is a little bit more sophisticated platform, in my opinion, and I actually use it for myself for certain
Okay, great.
research and such.
Okay, that's
But
interesting.
but my point was, in my case, I started in the market in 1998, so I've seen Y2K, year 2000, the bubble. Okay, we've seen 2008 crash. Okay,
Right.
we've seen 2014. We've seen issues. We've seen COVID, market crashes. So these are all things that affect the mentality of the investor
Okay.
to buy or sell the shares. Something that might be worrisome for you, I would see an opportunity,
Okay.
and vice versa.
Ah.
While looking at the same thing. Don't forget, the buyer buys it from somebody that is selling.
In the first place, why is the seller selling the stock? Because he's got some strategy.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
You need to think, why is he selling?
Selling. Okay. Okay. Why? Why?
Why?
So, would you answer why there, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, depending on the stock, if I'm buying, I am asking myself, why would somebody sell at this level before buying that stock?
Correct. Yeah. I have a comment here.
Please.
Roman, your presentation is so interesting and positive. You got me interested in becoming a player for, or is the word participant in stock market.
Well,
Thank you very
you.
much.
I appreciate that comment. I hope I would be able to share many more. It's an exciting journey. I've been part of this. It's more than a hobby to me.
Okay.
It's been part of my career, and despite the fact that, as I mentioned earlier, we are part of the market. Just it makes you more curious.
To
You
know.
learn about new things. You discover new companies. You discover new services and or products that you may have not known.
Exactly.
But sometimes I would see a particular stock symbol and an interesting name of the company. It would be a vice versa. I look at the company and then I look at the products. Versus me finding a product and saying, "Oh, who made this?"
Curiosity. Yeah. Okay, my question is age is a factor in trying to be a shareholder? I mean, try to go into the market. I'm 80 years old now, so I think I should still do it or not. I stay away from the stock market.
Okay, so Yet again, it all depends on your financial situation. Do not invest the money you cannot afford to lose. If you need the money to, because I'm assuming you're not working at 8 years old, so you do not have a stream of income that's coming in,
Hmm.
and you may need to pay for whatever things that you need on a daily basis, and you may not have a stack of cash in your whatever checking account, or
Uh,
so I would not at that point, if you cannot afford to lose it, I would not invest it. On contrary, you may have grandkids, kids, and you may want to, and you may have a particular amount of money that you may want to pass on and maybe invest early on behalf of your grandkids, and invest into their accounts
I,
earlier on if you want to give something to them, and starting kids earlier,
right,
because on average, because certain years markets go up, certain years markets go down.
right, right,
On
right.
average, you're seeing about 7 to 10% increase annually.
Uh-huh.
Yet again, on average, uh, so you're seeing 7 to 10% increase in the, let's say, S&P 500,
Hmm.
and that's an index consisting of 500 top companies in the
Correct.
United States.
500. Yes. Uh-huh. All right.
So all everything is very individual. So just addressing a particular financial situation, I would need to know more about your lifestyle, and about some of the details you may not want to share publicly.
Okay. Another question here: is there any way to guarantee yourself of making money in the stock market, or?
Great question. There are no guarantees. There's no guarantee. As a matter of fact, you probably hear many commercials everywhere. Um, Past performance does not guarantee future results, despite the fact that somebody or some broker might have been making great amounts of money in the
Uh-huh.
last 5 years.
Hmm.
He or she may not necessarily be doing great this year. So, unfortunately, things get lost, people disappear. The companies, new competition comes about, and certain great idea might have been on the top of the chain today, but tomorrow a better mouse trap came about and a better product, so a certain product of the company becomes useless.
Okay.
Similarly, as we have seen companies such as Sears close because Amazon came
Uh-huh.
to market and became a better mousetrap, which is very similar to what Sears was,
Up
20, 30 years
years
ago.
ago. I have a question here. A viewer writes, share your thoughts on GameStop.
Okay.
We are jumping the gun
Some
again.
time ago, when the GameStop had their pump and dump, that was about a year and a half
Well,
ago or so,
uh-huh.
I did my analysis on GameStop. Besides the technical ways that the investors have managed to squeeze the short players, the
Hmm.
players that were trying to play the stock lower, they have managed to gamma squeeze. So they bought a bunch of options, so you could not short the stock. So it's very technical. So today,
Uh-huh.
if you're asking me about GameStop as a stock, I need to look at the chart again. I did look at them recently. I think they're about $8 billion, or $6 to $8 billion. So they have number of stores. They have number of. They're in a gaming industry, which is still a pretty good industry. They are in trading games. They do have the community which follows them,
Okay.
and they have been buzz kind of a play, and what was it? Diamond hands, and whatever apes and such that may or may not be holding the stock nowadays. Of course, it will depend on the management. Of course, in today's market, it will depend on the consumers that will want to spend their money for either games or devices, consoles
Hmm.
that these companies sell. Can they expand and find new ways where they could generate revenue?
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, the company and or the stock, the reason it goes up and
Right,
down,
right, right.
depending on the income and or the profits that they might be a particular company could be making
Mm-hmm.
and or making in the future. That's why you're buying a certain company at today's price, thinking that this company will go higher
Okay.
in terms of increase their market share. So in terms of GameStop, would that be my particular play in today's market? It's not my personal favorite. It
Okay.
may be yours. Are you? Let me ask you a question back. Are you? Have you been to the store? Have you purchased something there?
Uh-huh.
Have anybody in your family done that? How well do you know the company? Ask yourself.
Okay, so you have any answers, please do text on WhatsApp, and Roman will be glad to get back to you on that. The next one is, what should you look at when attempting to determine a company's health?
Okay, so as I just mentioned, so you want to look at stability of the growth. You want to look at increase of market share. You want to look at increase of innovation that particular company brings to market.
Uh-huh.
You want to look at um, maybe dividend payments or increases in dividend payments of a particular company.
Mm-hmm.
You want to look at feedback of consumers and or even employees of a particular company saying, hey, this is a good company. You also may want to look at some of the analysts' reports.
Mm-hmm.
Not always, don't forget, people buying and selling. There are certain analysts may say, hey, it's a great stock. The other guy would say, I don't think it's a great stock because they have a different idea or view of the world.
So
So
we are
the
confused.
health of the company,
So we stand confused then? One saying yes, one saying no. Where do we decide then?
well, that's where you personally come in. Nobody, there's no guarantees. Nobody is 100% right.
Okay.
You see what I mean? So, and that's why somebody is selling at a particular point in time and somebody is buying.
Okay.
If you foresee the future in a
Positive way.
if you can foresee the future and be correct
Mm-hmm.
with your knowledge of what will be happening, let it be on the consumer, on the business end of things, you could be investing earlier. And that knowledge is, in my opinion, is based on a certain consumption of information and or certain deeper knowledge in a particular sector.
Right. Now, my question around just sidetracking a little bit. Your time spent here in this market for about 22, almost 22 years now. A person like me just retired. So, what would you advise me? Haven't spent even a day, an hour or so. So, but I'm still interested in playing the game. Right? So,
Well, let me address it in the following way.
okay.
Uh, if I may add, it's one of the things that might add to your interests
Uh-huh.
that may increase your view of things. And potentially, if you are able to and you feel comfortable in participating in a particular financial structure and or company, and you want to be a part of that company because you studied it, you like it so much, and you think that company will be changing the world in one way or another, you want to be part of it and you want to potentially make some money from it and or invest into it and see it grow and maybe pass on that money to your kids or grandkids and so on.
Right, but we always try to put a very positive spin to everything. But is it fair to also think the negative aspect of something so it can also lose money and you will nothing for your kids?
Well, that's why I keep repeating the point that do not invest the money you cannot afford to lose.
Okay, is there a margin for how much you can afford to lose?
It's very individual.
Okay,
It's very
okay.
individual. If
Individual.
you need whatever $5,000-10,000 a month to live
Uh-huh.
on a monthly basis,
Uh-huh.
and you need to have extra emergency
Funds.
expenses,
Uh-huh.
you need to make sure you have that in the bank.
For
But
how many months? At least for a year, 2 years,
you
3
know
years.
that's why I did mention that do not look at the market as a gamble.
Okay.
You
Strike.
know, and do not. It's not a casino. I don't want you to look at it as
Casino.
casino.
That's a good, very good. Yeah.
It's the odds. Yet again, you have to look within yourself.
Okay. Okay.
The odds of a particular company winning is
Mm-hmm.
higher, okay, than losing, because they
Losing.
already came to the public market. They're not a tiny company
Okay.
anymore.
Indicator.
They already have thousands of investors
Okay.
supporting them, products and services,
And track record is
or
there.
services.
Mm.
And if you personally want to be part of that journey,
Okay. Okay.
you will purchase potentially, and you don't. As a matter of fact, let me take it one step back for a second. I want to address it in the following way.